Hello guys, thank you very much for joining in. And hi, this is Ganesh Naik. I basically help finance professionals and students to excel in their career and become a better version of themselves. And I also help students preparing for FRM and CFA exam. So today I'm back with one of my students who has been able to clear FRM Level 1 in the May 2023 exam. He's going to be talking to us about his journey, about his preparation approach, what are the different challenges that he faced in the preparation. So we have with us Abid. Abid is being, thank you, first of all, thank you very much for joining in and being a part of this discussion. So, for the benefit of the audience, if you can tell us a brief about yourself, your background, and when did you start your preparation for FRM? Here we go.
Okay, so thank you so much for having me here, and it's an honor. So, just to introduce myself, I'm MBA Finance, and I have around 10 years of experience in this finance world. So, I've been working. I worked with a lot of mostly with exchanges, and my experience spans over equities, equity derivatives, currencies, commodities, and even electricity markets. I've been into mainly into the pre and post trade things like clearing, settlement, risk management, margining, collateral management, and all. So
What is the
this is
total experience that you have?
total experience is around 10 years now. So
Okay, over 10 years. Okay.
yeah.
So, my next question is basically what motivated you to go for FRM? What is the trigger point?
So it was there in my mind for a lot of time. I mean from some time कि कुछ करना है, क्या करना है, I wasn't clear. I've been I've done some certifications and all from time to time, but कुछ अलग करना है, कुछ better करना है. ये काफी टाइम सोचा. Then I was kind of confused between कि FRM करना है या CFA करना है. And then finally I went with FRM. I could based on my work experience, I could relate to it. This is something that is related to my work experience and all. So finally I
So, you
decided
spoke
I
to,
should go with it.
so, so you
Yeah.
decided to
So
go for FRM.
yes. So I watched a lot of videos कि क्या है. It wasn't like कि mind में आ गया कि FRM करना है and started. I took some time to understand कि it was, I mean, lot of calculation in the sense कि क्या syllabus है, कितना time expect कर मतलब लगेगा इसमें करने में, और क्या क्या मतलब क्या क्या पता होना चाहिए और क्या है और कितना टाइम लगता है, क्या बुक्स है, सब everything. So I watched a lot of videos on YouTube. I watched your videos as well. So finally I decided कि yes, this is something I can do considering my मेरी current job और मेरा जो भी उसके होते हुए मैं कितना time devote कर सकता हूँ. So I thought कि yes, I can do it, and I made my mind and I started preparing for it.
So you spoke to anybody specific in your organization or your friends related to
Yeah.
FRM?
So there was one of my colleagues in my previous organization. He had done FRM. So I spoke to him just once or twice, and just to understand his experience कि कैसा है, when someone is going for it along with the job. So is it doable? I mean, is it something that can be pursued? Or yes, not for much of the this advice and all. उसके लिए I have mostly watched your videos. I think I watched all of your videos on YouTube.
Okay.
So वहाँ से मुझे एक idea लगा, syllabus thoroughly देखा था. So then I thought yes, I should go for it.
And then when did you start your preparation, actual preparation for May 2023 exam?
Yeah, so I started. So in October, I was doing all this research and all, and by end of the October, I was clear in my head कि yes, I have to go with FRM. And by end of October, I registered at Fintelligents, and I ordered my books as well. By start of November, I was up with my preparation.
Okay. And you, if I'm not wrong, you had just taken the video lectures, right?
Yes,
For the
I took
preparation.
only video lectures because मेरा office का schedule ये सब was kind of very unpredictable. Ki I would not be able to take online classes and all. So I started with video lectures only.
Okay. So my next question is, did you follow any specific pattern, the pattern which we had given that you followed that, or you deviated, or generally I recommend Swagger. So did you only rely on Swagger or any other book, any other material?
Yes, so plan तो simple था. When I started watching your videos, I thoroughly and very I would say uh, very disciplined, in a very disciplined way. I followed the pattern in the sense the order of
Okay.
the chapters that you recommended, and in the order that your videos are there in the course. So I thoroughly took that order only. So एक तो वो था. And I watched my preparation. Strategy was I used to watch your video for any particular chapter. I used to watch your video, and उसमें एक reading वैसी book की हो जाती थी because treasure book is already covered in the lecture,
Covered,
video
yes.
lecture.
Hmm.
And once I used to complete the video, 1 hour video would take 1.5 hour, 2 hours, because you pause and you rewind for the topics that you think you need to revisit and kind of things. So ये करने के बाद thoroughly video देखने के बाद I used to take one thorough reading of the chapter in the book. वो करने के बाद I used to complete that easy uh, test that is there at the end of every chapter from your content only. So वो करने के बाद I'd move to next chapter. So this
Okay.
is how I completed my first this complete reading of all the
Full
four chapters, four books. Yeah.
Okay. And then when you started from November, what
Yes.
was the average number of hours you were giving on each single day?
So for this thing, I would just just to give you a context of my job profile and all. This time when I started preparing, so I had resigned in my current organization. So my notice
Okay.
period started at that time only, and I was based in Delhi at that time, and I had to move to Mumbai for my new job. So that was going to start in by end of Jan or start of the Feb 2023. So I knew that there are a lot of things that are going to be there. First was the notice period, because आप normal job में होते तो there are certain number of hours that you know are required to
Yes.
give uh, to your job. But आप notice period में होते तो there are a lot of commitments कि आप किसी existing project पे काम कर रहे हो to finish that before you leave, or you have to hand over your role to someone else. तो थोड़ा normal
Yes.
से ज़्यादा expectation company की भी होती है, and you are liable to that thing. So one
Hmm.
part was this. Another thing was when I was going to join in my new company, my current organization. Again, it was a new role. I was required to take out some extra time to understand company's business, my role and everything. Again, it was going to be time taking thing. So keeping all these things in my mind, and factoring in all these things, so I
Mhm.
started devoting 3 hours or 3.5 hours right from the beginning. And on
From
weekends
the
I used to spend around 7-8 hours, because I knew, because मेरा ये रिस्क था कि आगे जाके ऐसा ना हो कि I would not be even able to complete my syllabus. So that is going to be a big problem for me. So initially मुझे लगा जितना मैं खींच सकता हूँ मुझे खींचना चाहिए. I don't know.
Mhm.
It wasn't recommended, because exam के जितना close
I
जाओ,
know
it's
that.
better. Yes, yes.
I
But
agree.
my situation was kind of this, so I wasn't sure. But one thing that I was very clear कि मुझे कभी भी, even if I complete my syllabus, right before, I mean, काफी time पहले अगर मैं खत्म करता हूँ ना, even then I'm not going to stop my जो मैं effort लगा रहा हूँ उसको मुझे कम नहीं करना है. I have to keep consistent. I have to be consistent. Keep this thing till my exam. So that I did.
So my next question would be, see, you said you were at the first you only watched the video, read the textbook. So
Yes.
by when you completed your overall full reading of the content?
So my first reading, I completed my first reading in first week of March. First reading, I mean watching all your videos, chapter-wise videos, solving all your easy questions which were there, and also the chapter-wise questions, separate question bank that was given by you, those as well. So all these
Okay.
three things I completed by first week of March. So I mean around March and April was there for me to revise the things. So
Okay.
this is
So now, yeah, please go ahead.
so this is how I completed my first reading, and then I started the revision. Again in revision, I um, read all the chapters again. I read all the chapters, and even in for the topics where I wasn't that much sure कि थोड़ा लगता था कि ये थोड़ा weak है, I used to watch for those only videos. I used to for those chapters or those topics only. I used to watch your videos again. But more all in all, I read the textbook again in revision.
So
Yeah.
by 31st of March, what was your status in terms of solving, reading, revision? What was your status on that day?
So by 31st of March, I was up with my first reading, and somewhere 25-30% of my revision was done. But
Okay.
by that time, I hadn't done any mock, any sample paper solving. I had just done
That's
the chapter-wise questions or question bank.
So you'll be doing
I
it
had
at the
solved.
end. The question mocks generally people do it at the end. Now
Okay.
till 31st of March, from the day
Yeah.
you started, what was the biggest challenge that you faced in the overall preparation?
So biggest challenge again I would say was the time, because my the role that I am into, I was required to put some 10-12 hours a day in my work.
Okay.
So but I was very clear in my mind कि 12 घंटे के बाद भी ऑफिस से जाना है, to at least study for 2 hours, be it whatsoever. इतना करना है तो करना ही है. So I think I maintained this discipline all through this preparation. So
Okay.
biggest challenge I would say was time, but
Time.
I could manage that. Yeah.
And how many mock papers did you solve? And which were those mock papers?
So in my plan, I had kept in mind was कि मुझे एटलीस्ट आपके कंटेंट में जितना आपने आई थिंक सारे गाप के पेपर्स दिए हैं और आपके सेपरेटली भी मॉक पेपर्स हैं. सो प्लान वाज टू सॉल्व ऑल पेपर्स, बट ऐसा हो नहीं पाया. सो व्हाट आई डिड, मैंने श्वेजर के दो जो सैंपल पेपर्स होते हैं, आई सॉल्व दोज 2 पेपर्स. आई सॉल्व योर मॉक पेपर्स. आई थिंक 4 पेपर्स वर देयर. I solved all 4 papers, and then GARP ke I could complete 2 mocks only.
Okay.
So
And when you were solving those mock papers, what was the
yes,
average score that you were getting?
so average score was around 70, but my first score, I would mention this thing here. मेरा पहला मॉक श्वेजर का जो पहला सैंपल पेपर था, मैंने सॉल्व दैट. तो माय स्कोर वाज 60, एंड आई वाज सो पैनिक. आई वाज सो बहुत ज्यादा परेशान हो गया था, एंड आई कॉल्ड यू. तो आई वाज एक्सपेक्टिंग कि यू विल से कि अरे इतना कम क्या, कैसे, यू नीड टू रिविजिट एंड रीड थिंग्स अगेन. You took it very like a normal thing कि ठीक है, that's okay, and why are you worried? I was like कि 60 आया खाली. You said that's not a problem. Problem is कि if you're not going to understand from that कि क्या नहीं आता है, और just put some time and understand कि क्या किया है, और जो पेपर इवन जो क्वेश्चन सॉल्व किए हैं वो आपने जस्ट दैट अ गेस्ट वर्क, और यू एक्चुअली अंडरस्टैंड दोस टॉपिक्स. और जो नहीं आया तो वो क्या वो टॉपिक्स आपको वापस पढ़ने हैं या किसी मिस्टेक की वजह से, क्या पूरा एनालिसिस. सो आई एनीवेज आई जस्ट थ्रू आउट दैट थिंग्स इन माय माइंड, आउट ऑफ माय माइंड कि ठीक है जो हुआ दैट्स डन. आई टुक कंप्लीट 1 day टू सॉल्व फर्स्ट मॉक पेपर. उसमें पेपर सॉल्व करने के बाद ईच एंड एवरी क्वेश्चन आई अंडरस्टूड कि क्या टॉपिक से मुझे वापस पढ़ना है और क्या मुझे आता है. तो आई गॉट अ वेरी
Right.
क्लियर आइडिया कि मुझे कितना आता है कितना नहीं. सो फॉर मतलब going forward for all mocks, my score was I think around 70 के आसपास ही था, इसके आसपास ही मेरा स्कोर था. Yes.
So there is one point which I want to highlight over to all the audience, that whenever you solve chapter-based question in any mock paper, it is not important to only look at the number of rights, number of correct that you've got. The other
Right.
important part would be you analyze your mistake and do not repeat that mistake. You go back to the
Correct.
concept and see which mistake is connected to which concept. Do I need to revisit that concept? Do I need to watch the video again? That should
Correct.
be the
Correct.
approach that ideally people
Correct.
have. Should.
So that was what you said. You told me in that conversation. So I took that seriously, and that was my approach going forward.
Perfect. And now when you went for the exam, okay,
Yes.
so what was the first 1 hour of the FRM exam? What happened in that first 1 hour with you in terms of questions and all?
So before talking about first 1 hour, I would talk about first 15 minutes. When I started
Okay.
with the paper, पहले 2-3 questions मुझे नहीं समझे कि क्या है. दिस वाज रीजन वाज मेनली कि एक थोड़ा स्ट्रेस होता है, बिकॉज मॉक में आपको कहीं ना कहीं ये रहता है कि नहीं भी सॉल्व हुआ तो दैट्स ओके, बट दिस वन इज फाइनल. यहाँ नहीं हुआ तो दैट्स द प्रॉब्लम. तो थोड़ा वो पैनिक था. तो 2-3-4 क्वेश्चंस आई जस्ट स्किप्ड. आई स्टार्टेड रीडिंग एंड स्किप्ड कि नहीं ये नहीं होगा, छोड़ दिया, ये नहीं होगा, छोड़ दिया. बिफोर 5th और 6th क्वेश्चन आई वाज अप कि ठीक है, अभी आई एम एबल टू सॉल्व. एंड अभी 10-15 मिनट्स के बाद माय एंजाइटी वाज गॉन. आई वाज लाइक नॉर्मली सॉल्विंग पेपर, और खुद को बहुत नॉर्मल रखने की कोशिश करी कि इट्स ओके, नॉर्मल पेपर है, कोई ज्यादा ओवरथिंक नहीं करना है. एंड जस्ट हैव टू बी वेरी स्मार्ट विद द टाइम मैनेजमेंट कि अगर क्वेश्चन नहीं आ रहा है जस्ट स्किप इट. बिकॉज see in my opinion, when you are preparing for this exam, one of the important things that you need to understand is कि you should be able to understand कि ये क्वेश्चन आप सॉल्व कर पाओगे या नहीं. just at the start, very when you start reading the question, you should be able to understand कि ये आएगा, निकलेगा मेरे से, नहीं आएगा. Otherwise just skip that because time is important. So this is what I did, and without taking pressure कि मैंने कितने क्वेश्चन स्किप किए हैं, I just kept on going on and on. So and then later I revisited all those questions that I had skipped.
Okay,
So
so
I
in the
think that's
exam, how many theory and how many calculation questions were there for you?
so in my case there were around 25 questions which were calculation based and rest were theoretical. And
Okay,
I
out
think
of that calculation question, what was your confidence level in the calculation question? You mentioned 25, right? Roughly.
yes, around 25. Yes.
So out of
So
25,
out of
how many?
25, I think around 20 मेरे correct होंगे because calculation part में I was decent, मतलब ठीक, practice was good, but the theoretical questions were kind of tough in the sense कि there were at least 2 options which seemed very similar. ये आंसर हो सकता है, ये आंसर हो सकता है. तो theoretical questions ज़्यादा tough लगे मुझे compared to calculation based, because calculation based questions की एक खासियत ये है कि if you are thorough with the formula or the understanding, आपको आंसर आएगा, you are sure कि यही होगा. If this concept is clear. लेकिन थ्योरी में मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम्स द पैटर्न जो भी एग्जाम का जैसा भी जिस टाइप के क्वेश्चन आते हैं, देयर आर एटलीस्ट 2 ऑप्शंस जिसमें यू डोंट नो कि क्या करेक्ट हो सकता है.
So out of those
So
75 theory, how many questions you are confident?
I don't know, मतलब I think 40-45 only, because after coming out of the exam I wasn't even anyone was asking me कैसा गया, I was like कि नहीं होगा शायद, because I had no clue कि मैंने जो किया है. But what I did, मेरा जो best understanding के हिसाब से I chose the options, but I wasn't sure at all. At least I think maximum 40 questions थे which I was sure about कि ये होगा, and plus the 20 questions of the calculation part that I was kind of sure.
Because see, this is very normal for every student to come out of the exam and feel that I'm going to fail the exam, because
Yes.
because of more theory question, you're not able to judge how many right answers you'll be getting, or whether you have chosen an option, is it correct or not? And also one
Correct.
point I want to ask over here: did you do option elimination? Also, a lot of questions.
So at the end of the exam, probably some 4 or 5 minutes were left, and I had some 10 questions, around 20, 10 questions that were unsolved that I hadn't answered. So I think I have done just the guesswork in those questions. At least 10 questions were there. For rest of the questions, I thoroughly read the questions and based on my understanding, I answered questions.
Okay.
Around 90
So when
questions.
you came out of the exam, was there any number in your mind that I'll get 50 correct, 40 correct,
No number
30
at
correct?
all. I wasn't even sure ki I'll be able to clear the exam. But
Now,
when I started my preparation,
yeah,
sorry.
yeah, please go ahead. Please go ahead. Please go ahead.
Yeah. So when I started my preparation, one thing that was there in my mind ki I have to put my best, and I have to anyways come in top quartile, which I couldn't do, but at least I could clear. That is at least good part.
Right. And now the quartiles that you've got is 2211, which is very
Yes.
good quartiles.
Thank you.
Means very, very few people get this kind of quartile. Means what has been the reaction of people around you now?
I don't know. Most people were like, तो होना ही था तेरा होना ही था but I personally wasn't sure. I was very active in the group as well. आपका जो Telegram का group, I was
Hmm.
active in that group, and there were few more groups that I joined. I was very active. Reason being कि उससे थोड़ा ये होता है कि lot of people put lot of questions there. You kind of are able to revise your concepts as well. कुछ लोग they put their views and you learn from them, and at times you solve others queries and you feel confident कि ठीक है ये मुझे आता है. तो
Right.
थोड़ा बहुत लोगों से जो ग्रुप में इंटरेक्शन हो गया था उसके बेसिस पे लोगों का ये रिएक्शन था कि नहीं, यू जस्ट फील कि अच्छा नहीं गया है, बट डोंट वरी, यू विल बी थ्रू दिस. बट एट द एंड जब व्हेन आई गॉट द रिजल्ट आई वाज हैप्पी कि एटलीस्ट आई कुड क्लियर द एग्जाम.
Got it. Got it. And now, if somebody comes to you and asks you for three tips, okay, what would be that if somebody is preparing for FRM level one?
So 3 tips would be, first and foremost is get your basics very clear. This is the foremost thing कि हर एक कॉन्सेप्ट को बहुत अच्छे से रीड करो. रीड द श्वेजर बुक कंप्लीटली. और मतलब अच्छा एक डिसेंट टाइम लगाओ कॉन्सेप्ट बिल्ड करने में. फर्स्ट रीडिंग इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. उसमें आप अगर आपको नोट्स बनाने, एवरीथिंग इज एवरीवन हैज हिज और हर ओन स्टाइल ऑफ स्टडी. आपको नोट्स बनाओ. या in your the content that you have provided, उसमें already there are notes, there are summaries, everything is there. I don't think there is need, but सबका पैटर्न अलग होता है. तो फर्स्ट थिंग इज कि आप कॉन्सेप्ट बहुत अच्छे से समझो. सेकंड थिंग इज कि रिवीजन इज मस्ट. रिवीजन के बिना आई थिंक इट्स टफ कि सिर्फ बेस्ड ऑन वन. देयर आर एक्सेप्शंस ऑलवेज, बट आई थिंक रिवीजन इज वेरी मस्ट. इट्स लाइक नेट प्रैक्टिस. जब तक आप नेट प्रैक्टिस नहीं करोगे, आप अच्छे बॉलर एक थ्योरी के बेसिस पे नहीं बन सकते जस्ट हैविंग द नॉलेज ऑफ लाइन एंड लेंथ. जब तक आप
Yes.
फील्ड में जाके वो चीज नहीं करते, यू डोंट. तो आई वाज वेरी क्लियर कि रिवीजन इज इम्पोर्टेंट. तो आई वुड रिकमेंड कि रिवीजन आप कुछ भी करके आप कंप्लीट करो, एंड कंप्लीट covering all the 4 books. And third thing I would say, mock papers. At least 3-4 mock paper solve करके जाने चाहिए. Get the actual feel of the exam, because when you solve the chapter wise question, आपको पता होता है ये चैप्टर पढ़ा है, इसमें से क्वेश्चन अभी मैं सॉल्व करने जा रहा हूँ. बट when you are doing actual exam, उसमें से क्वेश्चंस आपको out of all the 4 books आने हैं. तो you should be able to identify कि ये क्या चीज है, किस बुक में से क्या है, और ये किस कॉन्सेप्ट पे बेस्ड है. So that feel
Got
you
it.
get only when you solve the mock papers. So these 3 things I would say would be my tips to candidates who are aspiring for FRM.
Okay. Now the next question is slightly different. This is the final question. 3 mistakes that you made while preparing for the exam, or you could have done better.
मैं पहला तो थ्योरी पे थोड़ा कम मैंने शायद आई थिंक मैंने टाइम लगाया है, because if you see my quartiles also in book 1 I scored 2, तो जबकि I put a lot of effort. शुरू में एक रीडिंग पढ़ी थी, बट आई वुड सजेस्ट कि यू कैन वन शुड कीप द बुक 1 फॉर द लेटर पीरियड ऑफ द प्रिपरेशन, बिकॉज थोड़ा फ्रेश रहेगा एंड एग्जाम के लिए इट विल हेल्प. और थ्योरी इज एनीवेज गोइंग टू बी स्लाइटली डिफरेंट. क्वेश्चंस मे सीम बुक में सीम इजी, बट एक्चुअली इट इज नॉट. सो थ्योरी पे बिकॉज पैटर्न भी अभी एग्जाम का काफी चेंज हो रहा है, इट्स नॉट कैलकुलेशन इंटेंसिव क्वेश्चन पेपर एनीमोर. सो कॉन्सेप्ट क्लियर होने के साथ थ्योरी पे फोकस ज्यादा आई थिंक करना चाहिए, जो मैंने थोड़ा कम किया है. एंड इनिशियली आई wasted some time, wasted in the sense ki I started reading GAP. I would not say that's a waste of time, but it's important to cover the whole syllabus rather than putting a lot of effort on some particular chapters. So at that point I talked to you also in the beginning. I was I started solving BT as well, started reading GAP. Then you said ki you don't need BT as of now. Agar end pe time bachta you can go for BT. But initially when I started doing that, I felt कि मैं बहुत ज़्यादा time लगा रहा हूँ, और अगर मैं ऐसा time लगाता गया I won't be able to complete my syllabus. Then I dropped that idea. So because again I wasn't aware कि आपके content में क्या क्या है. I thought initially I could see only videos and the easy questions that were there. But later on you put those chapter wise question bank and all. I wasn't initially aware. मुझे लगा इतना ही है, तो इतने के बेस पे नहीं होगा. That was what I thought. So I would say कि आपका content जो है that is more than sufficient. So one is not there is no requirement to go for BT or other things or the GARP book even. तो ये मैंने थोड़ा सा टाइम उसमें लगा दिया, और प्लस एंड पे थोड़ा दैट वाज सिचुएशन बेस्ड थिंग कि मेरा एग्जाम के पास आते हुए मेरा थोड़ा टाइम जो मैं लगा रहा था वो थोड़ा कम हो गया. That was reason was my new job and all. So ये reason था, because I couldn't, as per my plan I couldn't complete all the mocks that I had planned initially. तो वहाँ पर कहीं ना कहीं मेरा I think वो reason हुआ कि score थोड़ा सा कम.
Wonderful. So Abid, this was a very good conversation, and I'm sure this is going to be motivating for a lot of new students who are going to come and give the exam. People who are working, doing a full-time job and then appearing for FRM Level 1. I think so this interview is going to be very helpful for them. It will motivate them, and also your tech and the way you have prepared is going to be very helpful. So thank you very much for your time and talking to us.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. It was pleasure. Yeah.
Thank you.